Okay, back in the fall of 2018, I became obsessed with an old abandoned fire lookout tower deep in the Gifford Pinchot National Forest. Maps indicated it was miles from any maintained trail or road. It was exactly my kind of challenge. Total isolation. I knew it was technically off limits and probably rotting away, but the forums I had researched, last updated 2 years before, suggested it was mostly sturdy. Just remote. I found a rough pull-off, more like a widened ditch, about half a mile from the overgrown service road marked on my topo map. I parked my Subaru there, shouldered my pack filled with 2 days of supplies, just in case, and plunged into the woods. There was no path. I faced dense undergrowth, fallen logs, and the thick, quiet gloom of the old-growth forest. My handheld GPS served as my lifeline, beeping reassuringly as I bushwhacked. The hike felt endless. It took 5 solid hours. The terrain became tougher the deeper I went. Steep ravines filled with ferns, slopes slick with moss. My legs felt like jelly, and my hope that the tower would be usable was fading quickly. If it turned out to be rubble, I'd have to pitch my tent in bear country, in the dark. Not ideal. Finally, through a break in the massive firs, I saw it. Just the top platform peeking above the canopy. Relief washed over me as I approached. It looked surprisingly intact. The wood was weathered and gray with missing paint, but the structure stood straight. The support beams felt solid when I pushed against them. Solid enough for me anyway. The metal ladder going up the side was rusted, but seemed firm under my boots. Still, every step groaned like it was complaining, loud. Too loud in the silence. Reaching the top, breathtaking. A 360-degree sea of green mountains faded into haze. There were no roads, houses, or cell towers, just wilderness stretching endlessly. Perfect. The lookout cabin itself was tiny, maybe 10 by 15 feet. It was one room containing a crumbling metal bed in one corner and a sagging wooden desk by the windows. The windows were grimy, with some panes cracked or missing, but they wrapped around, offering an incredible view. Not much else. Home for the night. I dumped my pack, unrolled my sleeping pad and bag on the less dusty part of the floor, and fired up my little jet boil for dinner. Beef stew, gourmet style. As the sun dipped, painting the sky a fiery orange, I sat out on the narrow walkway that circled the cabin, letting my legs dangle over the edge. Pure peace. Until it got dark. Real dark. Cloud cover rolled in, snuffing out the stars and moon. Just inky blackness surrounded me. About an hour after it got fully dark, I saw it. Down among the trees, maybe a quarter mile from the tower's base. A light. But it wasn't white or steady like a flashlight. This one was orange and flickered like a torch flame. It moved deliberately between the trunks. My stomach twisted. Who else is out here? This wasn't a place you just stumbled into. There were no trails. Using a torch at night? That felt not just odd, but primal. Wrong. I watched it weave through the trees for about 10 minutes before it vanished behind the thick stand of pines. Gone. It didn't reappear. I tried to shake it off. I told myself it was another adventurous soul, maybe a local. The silence in the view calmed me until the wind picked up, cutting through my jacket. Time to head in. I stood for one last look down into the blackness below the tower. Someone was standing there, right at the base, in the small clearing where the ladder met the ground, just standing there staring straight up at me, frozen in the weak ambient light from the cabin windows behind me. My voice came out thin and shaky. Hello? Nothing. No movement, no sound, just that dark shape looking up. 10 seconds? 15? An eternity in the quiet dark. Then, slowly, they raised one arm. Not a wave, more like an acknowledgement or an apology. Just a slow lift of the hand held there for a moment. Then they turned silently and melted into the trees. No torch, just gone. Creeped out doesn't cover it, but my brain scrambled for logic. Another hiker saw the tower, wondered if it was occupied, and got shy when I called out. The hand thing was odd, but maybe just awkward. Yeah, that had to be it. I lingered outside for a few more minutes, heart pounding, seeing nothing but darkness. Finally, the cold drove me inside. Sleep was difficult. The wind howled around the cabin, finding every crack. The old timbers creaked and settled like something was walking on the roof. The ladder creaked with every gust. It took ages, but exhaustion won. I don't know what woke me. The wind had died down. It was utterly silent and pitch black. Then I heard it. Faint at first, then unmistakable. Creak, creak, the ladder. Someone was climbing it. I sat up quickly in my sleeping bag, ears straining. Creak, creak, steady, methodical, getting closer. I couldn't tell how far up they were in the darkness. My heart hammered against my ribs. I fumbled, unzipping the bag, scrambling to my feet. My backpack. I grabbed it, slinging it on as I stumbled towards the cabin door leading to the walkway. The creaking grew louder, faster now. It felt like they had sped up. Just as my hand touched the cold metal door handle, it stopped. Abrupt silence. I froze, listening. Nothing but my own ragged breath. Slowly, quietly, I slid the door open and stepped out on the walkway. The wind bit my face. I inched forward, the old wooden planks protesting under my boots. I peered around the corner towards the ladder's top rung, visible in the gloom. Empty. Just the dark opening where the ladder met the platform. No one was there. Confusion warred with terror. Where did they go? Did they climb down? Did I imagine it? I leaned cautiously over the railing, peering straight down into pure blackness. Nothing. Then, from behind me, on the other side of the cabin, a sudden frantic thud-thud-thud of running footsteps on the wooden walkway. I whipped around just in time to see a dark shape, a blur of movement, dart past the windows on the other side. Gone. No thought, just pure instinct. I swung one leg over the railing, groping blindly for the top rung of the ladder with my foot. Found it. I didn't care about noise now. I scrambled down, my boots slipping on the cold, wet metal. My whole body shook with adrenaline. Halfway down, I dared to glance up. Ahead. Silhouetted against the slightly lighter sky, peering over the railing down at me. I didn't scream. I just climbed faster, recklessly, hitting the ground hard. My knees buckled, but I was up and running, crashing through the undergrowth away from the tower, not looking back. Thank God I had my backpack. My headlamp was clipped on. I fumbled it on, the beam slicing erratically through the trees as I ran. My GPS. I pulled it out with trembling hands, setting a desperate course back to where my car was. The hike that took 5 hours, I did it in maybe 3, running when I could, stumbling, listening for pursuit over the pounding blood in my ears. I saw nothing, heard nothing but my own panic. I hit the dirt road, then the ditch. My Subaru was there, untouched. I threw myself in, locked the doors, and sped out onto the paved road, gravel spraying. I didn't stop shaking until I hit the highway light 30 miles later. I never reported it. What would I say? I never went back. But sometimes, lying awake, I still hear that metal groan. Creak, creak, getting closer.